All right, sincere apologies for that loss of sound there. It was due to some technical hitch here. Now, I said that we told you that we're going to be looking at what has just been released by the NBS, that's the Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics, whereby a very alarming that there is multi-dimensional poverty in the country, otherwise known as multi-dimensional index. It's a recent report by the NBC, that's the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, the indices that the NBC has used to arrive at this report is that most Nigerians live below some very, level that it is most unthinkable that people can actually live that way. It has to do with accessibility to health, the standard of living, and of course, accessibility to good education. And if you put the figures straight one more time, a total number of about 133 million Nigerians, million Nigerians now are poor. So that is about 63% of the entire population of the Nigerian population. It's very alarming when you know that that kind of number is poor in the country. Now, it is also a way of emphasizing, maybe stressing one more time, of the international perception, about Nigeria. I remember sometimes, some few months ago, whereby it was reported that Nigeria happens to be the capital of poverty in the whole world. Perhaps you may want to say that perception is right after all. Well, for us here this morning, we're going to be dissecting the issues and see how best we can possibly come out from this dudgeon, you may want to say, a situation that most people are not so comfortable with. Well, to discuss these issues this morning, we're so privileged to have Nwita Igbotako. He's a social public conflict expert, resolution man. And of course, he's an author of many books and a political and also a public affairs analyst. Mr. Nwita Igbotako, you're welcome to this program this morning on ITV.
Good morning, viewers.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here once again.
All right, now, so I'm sure you've seen the latest report now coming from the NBC. Now, the NBC has not, the NBS has not done that report, alone. It has done it with some other multinational bodies. We have the National Society Safety Net. We also have the UNDP, that's the United Nations Children's Fund, and of course, Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. These are some of the multinationals that the NBS has done the latest poverty index report with. So for us here, how did we get to where we are now? Let's hear from you.
Well, the underdevelopment of Nigeria is dialectic. It's dialectical in the sense that, just as I said, that report was not the handiwork of one source. Multi-dimensional sources made that report available. So the underdeveloped Nigeria is dialectic. So it has been proven scientifically and otherwise that Nigeria is in a dungeon, to use your word. We're in a dungeon because it is now official, because when the report came the other day that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, it's part of our new resources. Some government officials were trying to, they say, no, it's not like that. It was done to spy the government, to underrate the performance of the federal government. But now they are able to come out from the source. So how did we get here? How did we get here? We are here because of bad governance. Government over the years that have refused to reckon with the people. It is quite pathetic that we've had governance or government or leaders, political leaders, that have simply refused to connect with the people. Connecting with the people means
providing good governance, infrastructural facilities, making employment available to the people, to the youth. But that is the reverse of the case. We are in a dungeon. So, and I don't know how this government is, looking at itself, because the government doesn't have any cohesive economic program, social economic program that will lead people out of poverty. We have rich resources in this country, and such resources are not being used in the interest of Nigerian people. The resources are being cornered by a few elites who have access to power, who have access to corridors of power. And the resources that are even being distributed in the country, is going to a few pockets. The main source of our economy, life wire, oil, petroleum, when a mess, even in that sector, the greatest robbery is taking place in that sector. And this robbery is being organized at the highest quarters.
You can also say
it is the fact.
You can also
it is the fact. The other day, we know what happens at the level of NNPC. Somebody was saying the other day that you cannot involve in oil bunkering. You cannot involve in oil theft if you are not a millionaire or billionaire by yourself. You know how much to acquire the fleet, the ship that goes into oil theft. It is highly organized. So, when we have a country, when the mess of the economy is being messed up, so to say, when there's no sanitized way to generate the revenue properly, billions of dollars of oil being stolen, and the ones that are even being remitted officially are being stolen. How do you run that kind of a country? Okay. So that's how we got here. We are here because the government have been most irresponsible to the part of the Nigerian people. At the state level and at every level. It is pathetic. It is tragic.
All right, now, Nowita, it's very, very easy for most of us, most times, to point accusing fingers at government. But let us also look at corruption that seems to have pervaded all levels of the nation, all levels of nationhood, all levels of us as Nigerians. It is not only in government. It is in private sector, in the social sector, in the public sector, even in our various homes. Now, some persons say that corruption that has pervaded the nation seems to be responsible for the pauperization. That's the way the person put it now. The pauperization of most Nigerians. So when we know that is correct, so can we still start blaming government? Don't you think that we as Nigerians also have a role to play in all of all this?
My brother Evans, we know what is obtainable in civilized countries. Are we saying there's no corruption in the United States? Are we saying there's no corruption in the UK? Are we saying there's no corruption in Europe or Asian countries? Look at what the Chinese people have even put in place in China because of the proliferation, institutionalization of corruption in China. Several years ago, they saw it. So talking about poverty, the government has a big role to play. When you put a law and the law is not working for the populace, the one works for a few, they are sacred cows. How do you expect that law to work? For instance, in the United States now, because when you are talking, you have to compare and contrast. There was a president that just left office, Donald Trump. He is the first billionaire in American history to be president of America. And the man wanted to bully the system. He did all sorts of things, but he's being held accountable now. Donald Trump is being held accountable. There are a lot of lawsuits to bring him to order, to restore the American democracy, to sanitize the system. What role is the Nigerian government playing in fighting corruption? The other day, the former chairman of EFCC, what is his name now? Ibrahim Magu.
Mansu.
Magu.
Magu.
Yeah. who was pampered, I use the word pampered, who was pampered by President Muhammadu Buhari, because I use the word pampered because when the National Assembly wanted to truncate his chairmanship, for reason best known to the National Assembly, Buhari insisted, and his kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, but we understand that that was only constitutional.
I'm coming from there because EFCC is an agency fighting corruption. That's what I want to address there, so that we can now look at the situation. That's the agency set up Obasanjo to fight corruption, and the thing has come to stay. But when you have an agency that is even politicized, that has been hijacked, look at the role being played by the Attorney General, for instance, Abubakar Malami. So the process is not transparent. People are still bringing their parochial interest to run the anti-corruption agency. What led to the fall of Magu? Buhari's so-called pampered child. Because Magu was doing certain things that did not go down with Abubakar Malami. Because Abubakar Malami, as Minister of Attorney General, he has oversight functions over AFCC. So the AFCC is answerable to Malami. What are the money that was returned the other day from looted and Abacha loot, all that? A lot of inconsistencies, a lot of politicization of fighting corruption. So what I'm saying is that the government is boiled down to insincerity. The laws are not, being made to flow to benefit the Nigerian populace. The law is being made, it's being politicized to favor on sacred cows. Look at those who looted Nigeria lame. Look at the Dariyes of this world, Joshua Dariye. Look at this guy, what is his name? The former governor of Benue State, that was put in detention in the name of corruption. This government brought them back from prison, and they are now even preparing to take part in this 2020 election. What I'm saying is that this government is not serious about fighting corruption.
Yeah, but that's your own opinion.
We know corruption.
For some people,
corruption flows
that way. Yeah, but my question is, when you say this government brought them back to power and all that, I think we also need to know that the government has a constitutional role, to do some certain things. So when government acts constitutionally, do we still have to blame?
What constitutionally? The other day, there was heavy fight in fighting at the Ministry of Attorney General's office, Minister of Justice, about how some officials, even the EFCC, how they manipulated names. Those names that it was presidential pardon or something. It was pardon now. It was presidential pardon.
Presidential pardon.
Yeah, for the Dariyes and the rest.
Yeah.
So they were even saying some people collected money from these people that were pardoned so that their names could appear on that list. We read, I am a columnist.
We read, but again,
we write on these issues. We know what is happening.
There are allegations.
There are no allegations. The thing came to the fore. People were queried. Even the EFCC, even the Minister of Justice, that have the social name, people they say query. I am a columnist. I'm not even a local columnist. I'm an international columnist. I write every week.
All right, now let's.
So we know the issue. So the issue is that corruption goes down everywhere. It's there, but the government is not using its might to sanitize the process. The anti-corruption file has been politicized. That is the truth of the matter. It has been politicized. So that's why we see things the way they are happening. So if the government bring its might down and don't mind whose horse is God, then we will see results.
Okay. All right. So this this poverty, sorry, I'm using the word corruption now.
Yeah.
Now, this poverty index report, for the very first time in a long while now, is termed multidimensional poverty index report. For a very long time, we've not had a multidimensional poverty index report. Now, it goes to show that it's almost cut across all strata of the society. But again, we're told that the indices that the NBS is using is accessibility to education, accessibility to good health, and perhaps that brings us to want to examine to what extent has the Nigerian populace taken advantage of some measures that the federal government has put in place. State governors, local government, administrations and all that, we have some of them known as the poverty alleviation programs and all that. So don't you think the people also have a role? It is one thing for government to bring measures to alleviate poverty. It is another for the citizens to take advantage of this program. So the issues are that citizens are not taking advantage of this program.
What programs? What programs are citizens not taking advantage over? Look at the COVID-19, for instance. It is in the report that COVID-19 aggravated the poverty situation in Nigeria. But during the thick and thin of the COVID-19 problem, what role did the federal government play? You are telling me that citizens should play a role. All the billions that was donated from goodwill from Nigerians. Remember in our church, I don't want to call the name, our church gave ₦1 billion to the federal government to fight COVID-19. And several organizations like that did that. They have not accounted for such money. That is the fact of the matter. And that reminds me, maybe that's what I will do in my next article. That money, nobody has said one thing about those. You remember now, during the COVID-19, when people were not donating, to the federal government.
Yeah, but we also heard that a lot of persons received palliatives.
Which palliatives?
From the federal government.
Did you receive palliative? How many people received palliative in Edo State? How many people? What led to the storming? I use the word storm. The people storm in Benin City in Edo State, for instance. The people storm Medical Store Road when they heard that something were put there.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it turned out to be
they did not give the Obaseki government. I'm saying it on air.
Let's
the Obaseki government. You mentioned state government as an example.
But when you talk about the Edo State government, because I remember that issue of Edo State government, the palliatives that people had to go and break the
people had to break into.
It turned out to be that those things there, those food items there, they were even not the government's, food items. They were privately owned. We saw some of the private owners came in, coming on screen.
Some of those things belong to government.
So I think we need to put things in the right perspective.
Mob action. When there's a mob action,
mob action,
criminals, miscreants, they will hijack.
Yeah.
But when it started, they went to Medical Store Road.
Yeah.
And we saw those.
So it is not as if
COVID-19 thing, but people hijacked and went as far as test mirror and start, break into people's private. We know what happened. But if the government had done the right thing, we know some of the packages that officially came to some people. Miserable packages.
No, are you saying that the government then...
The government is not responsive and responsible to Nigerian people, even at the state level. Look at the money. The 15% derivation money that was paid to state government for the Niger Delta in 2021.
Yeah,
nobody told us about it.
Yeah, but let us be careful.
This is the kind of money that would have been used to provide infrastructural facilities like hospitals, like gurus, with the road to Sapele Road.
No, which but
this is the fact of the matter.
Yeah, no, let us not miss issues here. Because when we talk about the 30% derivation that we made reference to, we understand that the investigations are still going on. But again, most Nigerians probably don't know. They don't ask the right questions. The right questions that Nigerians should be asking now, as it relates to that, is that money, was it ever assessed?
But a governor...
Did our own state, did Edo State government... Because there was a condition. There were conditionalities.
They should come out.
That's why I said we should...
Edo State government should come out.
That's why I said we should be careful with the way...
They should come out whether they receive that money or not. They have not refuted what Wike said.
And so they've not said anything. It doesn't mean that they may not. So why don't we wait and
what are you waiting? How many days now?
Anyway, that's not the issue we are looking at.
So I cited that example because such money is another advantage to take people out of poverty. That's okay. What is the greatest generation of poverty? It's unemployment. When people cannot access, people are not employed, no means of livelihood, then they fall into the poverty trap. When a man cannot take care of his home, he removes his scarf and puts it in his hands, and he's begging his neighbors That's poverty because it's on the demand is
handicapped.
It's handicapped. So when government cannot provide employment, it's the greatest source of poverty. People cannot access good hospitals. They cannot get it done. So what is the federal government doing? Nigeria is a big country. Nigeria has the resources. One of the greatest ways to take people out of poverty is through agricultural process. Modernized agricultural process. In UK and America, food is not their problem. They be able to engage the youth, engage people, mechanized farming. Do I just say mechanized farming? Just that Obaseki government was talking about mechanized farming. We know the thing there in fiasco. There's nothing that is happening. That is the truth of the matter.
But have you gone around to check whether we have mechanized farming in Edo State?
Make Edo State again, when they were talking about agricultural whatever.
No, Butako, I'm asking you here now. Have you gone around to see whether Edo State does not have mechanized farming or not? Where have you gone?
There is no mechanized farming anywhere.
Where have you gone?
The other day, it was corruption that even corruption cases that was coming. When some people investigated, somebody was even almost killed. One of our civil society personnel was even killed somewhere in Edo North. Almost killed when we were trying to investigate certain things. Money that was given to somebody to facilitate a process of farming. We are in the know. I am apart from activism, apart from as a professional conflict resolution person, professional. I am a columnist. I am current.
Yeah, we're not
so
disputing
we
that
know,
now.
We know what is happening.
Yeah.
We thank God for social media. What goes around, we know. We have our boys on the ground that feed us with information. Insincerity is the bane of, poverty. Is the cause. The government is not responsible to the people. The government is not proactive. There's no coherent issue. There's no coherent policies. And if policies are even put in place to remove people from poverty, it's the elite that will hijack it.
All right, so now that
we're
saying...
what are we saying?
Yeah, now that we're here now, because just like what we said, that one thing that we're going to be doing here this morning is to begin to profile solutions, because it's very worrisome now that this poverty index report now is multidimensional. Now, that leads us to want to look at, because somebody also said that perhaps this poverty we're talking about now may be self-induced poverty.
Self-induced.
Self-induced poverty.
Yes.
So if it is self-induced poverty, little or by no chance can we continue to blame government. Just like what I said a while ago, that most programs that government roll out, state government, local government,
federal government,
of course federal government, the people don't take advantage of
people take up. See, I am a father. I have children. I have children in universities. We have people that depend on us, and there are people that even look up to us to assist them in the system. Maybe there's an employment, federal government program, all those things. They connect us to see how we can help them. When we try, we get to a level to get stuck because the operators of the system, they are parochial.
Now, the question I want to ask
this is a reality.
This morning, let's look at
it don't trickle down to the people.
Now, let's look at entrepreneurship. In Edo State here, where I live, I know that the state government has various entrepreneurship programs. You go to Edo Innovative Hub,
Edo East,
somewhere
Edo
along Sapele Road,
yeah.
You find some youngsters that believe so much on the program of the state government, and they are keen into it. But again, there you also have some parents too. Some youngsters too that ought to make themselves available for some of these programs. All these are programs to alleviate poverty. They stay back, they don't make themselves available. So if we have that situation, don't you think, that's why I said a while ago, that there is an angle to it. Let us also look at the other angle, which is the self-induced poverty.
My brother, people make themselves available. Let me tell you, let me reveal something to you here. I'm on here. Let me reveal something. People make themselves available. It's the same operators that truncate. It's the same operators that deliberately make things not to work.
How do you mean?
Ministry of Health. I want to say it on here. Ministry of Health, Edo State. They recruited some persons to work at hoc level. COVID-19, process and all that. They have refused to pay them as I'm talking to you now.
Where did you get
I challenge the commissioner in the Ministry of Health. No, I'm giving a specific example. Yeah. You have told me that people don't make themselves available. When people don't make themselves available, you frustrate them. People spend their money to buy the checker, to buy data, People who don't have jobs.
Now,
this is a fact. This you can investigate.
But let us also look at it. I'll do my investigation.
Do your investigation.
News of heads. You said it here now. We're going
the commissioner has refused to pay those persons.
But again, when you talk about COVID-19, and of course you talk about immunization that goes on every now and then, I do know that Ministry of Health, so to say, that's a federal government project in the first place. If you even talk about the COVID-19, it's a federal government project. But so the money, the sponsorship is not even sponsored by the state government, it's sponsored by the federal government. But so have you found out?
I was told. I made my investigation. I was not told. When I was given, I investigated, and I discovered that it's the commissioner that is manipulating the thing.
Who told you that?
Well, I should mention it on here.
That the commissioner is manipulating it when you know that such venture is being organized by the federal government?
Those people have worked. This program.
So what about if the money has not been released by the federal government? You expect the commissioner to use this money?
No, okay, the commissioner should come out.
I don't know. The
Edo State commissioner should come out and tell why he has not paid those people, those ad hoc staff that were employed to handle those COVID-19 stuff when the thing is still there.
Yeah,
you should come out and explain. Yeah. Okay. For example, it's an allegation, for instance.
So let's leave it there.
I'm alleging now.
So let's leave it there.
But they can come out and defend.
Yeah. So when there's an allegation,
they should come out and defend.
When there is an allegation, we leave it as being an allegation.
But you investigate after the program.
For us, most times, to come on air, I want to make it authoritative. You know, if we're saying that somebody said.
Somebody said. I investigated.
But you just said it's an allegation.
No, I read conflict resolution, and they took us through international law, common civil law. Though I'm not a lawyer, but we went through the process when we were in universities.
That when something's an allegation,
if you just say something and you are not
too sure of it,
somebody can take it to court. So that's what I'm telling you. From my angle, it's an allegation.
So let's leave it there. Let's
because I know the law from the little law I read in the school.
So the onus lies on the Ministry of Health now, and perhaps the Commissioner for Health to come on air. So let's leave it as
So I don't as an example. There are several programs. I remember them now from the federal government. They will put them on newspapers, put everywhere. Our people will apply.
Okay, so
they get stuck. They don't get it. It's the children of politicians, children of senators, ministers, local government chairmen, governors. It's the candidate they take. They don't take ordinary people. You have to use somebody to get some of these things. It is pathetic. Are we in a country where things don't work? Things don't work here, Evans. That's the truth of the matter. I'm a social, I'm a civil society person. I am not sentimental about this matter. These are the issues. These are the issues. Okay, what is pulling majority of our boys into the street to involve in Yahoo? It's unemployment. What makes Nigerian youth to not you started to sell their body parts, killing their brothers and sisters to make money? The madness came up because of that one for their employment.
What about the youths that find job? I'm more or less a youth now.
Yeah, I'm a youth.
I went to school and I found job. Now, there are some other youths too that go to school, they find job. I didn't go into Yahoo. So don't you also think that those boys that go into Yahoo, it is the choice of life that they have chosen?
In the society, society, you don't expect everybody to think the same. Parental upbringing is an issue.
Okay, so if we know this,
but even we know children who are even orphans, who some of them struggle
without guidance,
they become fantastic human beings. Yeah. So in society, it's all sorts of human beings. But even advanced countries, but majority of people, youths. Even in New York, people, apart from the social net that's available, people still go to under the bridge and smoke.
I understand it perfectly well.
But in Nigeria,
what I'm thinking here now is that...
you are saying more or less that Nigerian youth are not taking advantage.
Yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is that rather than
the system is not favorable to them.
Yeah, rather than trying to...
I don't support Yahoo boys. I don't support this nonsense they are doing. But it is one of the reasons they went there. And the government, okay, now, I read the report that these people from Mali, from Niger, most of them, that the people go into the farms.
Over there.
Even in Nigeria, people that came to Nigeria across that they want go into farming in the rural areas.
Now.
Now,
Okay.
why can't the government put up a policy, an agricultural recovery program, and make it enticing? Make people want to like it. Build those stairs. Arrange it. Mechanized farming. Establish farms. People will come when they know that they will have salary. And they will work. And there will be enough for us to... Okay, one of the presidential candidates is talking about production economy now. Why is the presidential candidate talking about production economy if we have an economy that is making sense? We don't have... So we are just... It's a rentier system we have. A rentier system.
All right, so in all this now...
I challenge the federal government.
Yeah.
The one that is remaining for Buhari government, you see, have some months to go. Let them put up, if they can come up with this policy and they support this multi-dimensional policy, they should come out with a coherent multi-dimensional policy too that will take people out of poverty. They should establish mechanized farming. They should build those. We have the money. The other day, Senator Ndume was saying that why would they not? Why would they give ASUU half salary? A senator came out and told the truth of the matter. What sin did ASUU commit? Because they want an educational system to be sanitized.
But the federal government told us that...
I'm giving an example.
Yeah, the federal government said they paid ASUU pro rata, not half salaries.
Which pro rata? What are they saying?
That's what they told us. They said they paid ASUU members pro rata.
Even in the lecturers, are they ad hoc staff? Are they menial jobbers? These are intellectuals. And look at the report I saw a few days ago. One of the universities that you see the brain drain, Evans, the brain drain. During this ASUU
strike.
Not many people that left Nigeria. You see people denominators are available for what? Nigerian lecturers that are talking about sanitizing the educational system, they went on strike. You are trying to frustrate them in Gege. The minister is trying to frustrate them by every means possible. Is that a society? Is that a country? So I challenge the federal government to put in place a multi-dimensional policy, agricultural system. I was talking about the Malians, the Niger that come from our borders to come. They are the ones doing agricultural thing in the rural areas. The federal government should capture the youth, build those stairs, build accommodation for them, and provide fertilizers, mechanized farming. Nigeria will become a product. What do we not have in this country? Agricultural. Byproduct and all that. Cocoa, what have you? We have everything. But they have been mismanaged, they have been neglected, nothing is happening. Look at the demand they saw in gold in Zamfara. Why the madness in Zamfara? Because Nigerian elite, they took advantage, they went to Zamfara and started mining gold. That's what happened. The federal government sat for a long time as if they did not know what was happening because many government officials, top government officials were involved in the mining process.
Do you have the proof that?
That is the truth. I am a media person.
Yeah, I know.
So we have information. It is in the public there now.
What is your source?
Okay, the other day. Okay, why did they now leave them back? Why did the federal government do that restriction on Zamfara?
The no-fly zone.
Although no-fly zone, the what do you call it?
The no-fly. Tell me,
the no-fly zone and the.
It was because of the insecurity situation in Zamfara.
And this thing
State.
they did, they blocked them from internet facilities for some time. They were complaining.
Yeah, it was all tied to the insecurity situation there because there were reports that some alleged Boko Haram insurgents, some insurgents were using. They were using the social media to perpetrate their evil. One report, and another one was that it was alleged that helicopters were being used to transport.
Let me not speak colloquial here. Who are the people? Is it you and I? Is it the farmers that can afford helicopters?
Any person may have done that. No,
see, all these things are organized crime, and organized crime are done by mafias. Who are the mafias?
Anyway,
people that have
let us continue with your suggestion now.
But these things are related.
Yeah, they are related. So let's because you said that the government should ensure that they revolutionize agriculture. That's the way you put it down. So which other suggestions are you making?
They should put up a policy that will attract the youth from crime.
From crime?
From crime. For instance, let me give a pathetic story. I got that 2 days ago. Somebody just left his parents and went after one Yahoo guy. When the guy came down, he almost died. If that kind of guy has a program by federal government or state government, say, okay, we'll give you 20,000 every month. If facilities like this will be provided, people will be trained. After training, you go to agricultural manufacturing. All the things will be put in place. With that chap, that guy used to be in our church. With that guy came back and started narrating to his mother what he went through. He went to school of Yahoo. So the state government, the federal government at every strata, they should come up with policies. They say they don't have money. There is money. 15% derivation is still there. That's the money Wike is using. He said it. Thank to Wike. Wike said, is that money? People will say, where is he having money? Imagine 145 billion given to Delta State and the Okowa of a man is now saying want to be president candidate to Atiku Abubakar.
But have you also followed the reaction of the commissioner for one of the commissioners in Delta State? You are from Delta State. Have you followed the reports? You know,
report what?
About that.
Did they tell Deltans that they got the money? The biggest robbery is taking place in Delta.
No, you cannot say so.
That is the fact.
You cannot say
See,
so.
this country belongs to all of us. We are all stakeholders. Then, and this one, I am a Deltan. The greatest oil comes from the Niger Delta. As a Deltan, I hear that 145 billion goes to Delta. I'll be happy. And when did Okowa? When was the last time they did employment in Delta? The road, the Benin road to Warrior. The last time I had a program at home, I couldn't drive my car.
What about the empowerment programs going on in Delta?
Which empowerment program? How many people have benefited from empowerment program? They put the empowerment program in place, as I said, it's the same politicians. They will call their brothers, call their girlfriends, call their nephew, call their side chicks. Say, bring your brother. Bring this.
Anyway.
The thing don't trickle down. There's no transparency in the system. Evans, you agree with me. I'm not just speaking from the hair. I'm speaking from reality. Realistic, perception, post-solution of when I started, I said Nigerian underdevelopment is a dialectic. It is dialectical. It is there. They are fact and figures. Anyway, things are not changing. Okay, why are people clamoring for change?
Yeah, no, which I
why are people believing in a presidential candidate as we speak? That this candidate will give us a new Nigeria. Because there was a country. We want a new country.
A better
things are not working, Evans.
All right,
politicians are selfish. They put money in their pockets. They don't care about the people.
We don't have time anymore. I want to say a very big thank you for finding time to come on the show.
So they should be pro people.
These issues they cause for concern because when I got the reports a few days ago, I was worried that about 63% of Nigerians are poor. Multi-dimensionally poor. That's the report.
It's a tragedy.
That is coming from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. National Bureau of Statistics, that's what they call it now. That latest report was done with some other multi-dimensional organizations. So it is not a one-side thing. So if you put that into figures one more time, a total number of 130 million Nigerians are poor. It's very, very worrisome. And we're told that these people live in the rural settings of our country. I think perhaps the federal government needs to look inward into the rural settings.
It calls for an emergency.
The rural settings.
An emergency situation.
Anyway, we also want to let you know that when we call our guests to talk on some of these issues on our programs, or television programs and radio programs, it doesn't have anything to do with independent radio and television. We will always emphasize that we give you the opportunity to speak on these issues and also provide solutions on how best we can go in the country. You might be the next person that we may invite so that you can speak on some of these issues as the issues are going on. So the issues are the guests, the opinions are the opinions of the guests. ITV Radio does not have any opinion on these issues. So I really want to say a very big thank you to you, Nwita.
Thank you so much.
All right, so the program is still on here this morning on ITV. So we'll quickly take a short pause now, and we'll be right back so that we shut down the program this morning.